Today I'm going to the city of Ghardaia, Algeria, where women wear white and the people who live here have been practicing the same systems of society for 1200 years. I'm Chloe Jade, and today I'm taking you to Ghardaia. But first we had a few hours at the Algiers airport and we were attempting to book our hotel without speaking a word of the language. We figured it out and we were off to fly on Air Algeria for the first time. Finally! Now the flight was open seating. Although we did have assigned seats, they said go as far to the front as you can and sit anywhere you want. I wanted to sit kind of towards the front because I feel like it's a little bit less bumpy, especially on a propeller plane. Air Algeria is a great local airline that connects the entire country and is very well priced. But on this flight I started to smell smoke. I'm pretty sure somebody is smoking on the plane. It smells like hardcore cigarettes. First I thought that this might be in the bathroom, but then I thought maybe it's in the cockpit. As soon as we landed, they took all of the passports from the foreigners. We had absolutely no idea what was going on. We were then asked for our guide, but we did not have a guide. And legally, we did not need one. We now have our police escort, which is apparently required for everybody in the city of Ghardaia. The hotel that we chose also sent someone to pick us up.
So when we first arrived, the security officer was basically telling us that we needed to have a guide, and we know that we don't need to have a guide while we're here in Algeria because we have tourist visa that we got at the embassy. So basically we were arguing with him back and forth until he's like, no, you will have security and it will be free. So now we have free security detail.
After a few minutes, the security detail was gone. We started listening to Algerian music on the radio, and looking around, it finally started to feel that we were in Ghardaia. We began to drive through an oasis, and the road did not even exist on a map. We finally arrived to the hotel, which cost about $43 per night for 2 people, and I was ready to sleep and wake up and explore tomorrow.
So this is how you wash your hair when you don't really have hot water.
Good morning, the day has finally come. I am so excited to go explore Ghardaia. Dilara is already out here and ready having breakfast. Algeria has amazing bread. They have baguettes, they have local bread, and some really nice jams and honey too. But you know I need my coffee before I do anything.
I am wearing this because I want to be pretty fully covered because it's a very religious community and they still practice a lot of their practices from like hundreds and thousands of years ago. So all of the women are going to be in just completely white attire where you can only see one eye. And then the men wear like shalwar, which is a traditional Islamic outfit. But I'm really excited.
So now we're going to walk into the old town and we're going to try and explore some of the local villages that are here. Hope we can make it because we have no idea where we're going. And honestly, I spoke too soon. We were supposed to walk 16 minutes, which should have been a very easy stroll into one of the cities called Ben Iskin. However, all of a sudden we saw a car and our hotel had other plans.
So basically we were walking and then we were stopped and they said that we have to have some type of escort to take us to town. I'm not sure why, but basically we're not allowed to walk this stretch of land, I guess. So we get a free ride, I think.
They did try to charge us after, but we figured it out. Note to self, learn a bit more French or Arabic before coming back to Algeria. Walking through the markets of Ghardaia, I love to see how they had so many different spices and people were actively in the souk. But we were looking to go to the old city in which every foreigner needs a guide, and we finally found him. This is Brahim. The other man is just a random Algerian man who's also visiting. They do have a sign up that tells you the rules. Basically, you must adhere to Islamic laws, no dogs, no wearing short dresses, etc. And thus we began our tour of the old city of Ghardaia. Now there are 3 foundations of Mozabite society. The first is that they use simple architecture, but it is functional.
So the houses are built in a specific way here so that each door is in a completely different area from the other one on alternative sides. This is basically for privacy. All of the doors are going to open into the house so that it doesn't disturb the street area, and there's immediately going to be a wall so that they can open the door and people still have privacy, especially because people are very modest here. And then all of the houses are also angled, and that is to allow sun to be absorbed on one area to give light to the house, but not actually cause it to be hot inside. So apparently the ventilation in here is created by the fact that the houses are 7.5 meters and no taller, and it allows for ventilation, but also allows for light, and then it allows it to stay cool as well.
The second is that the houses are built high on the hills because the agriculture is always down in the valley. And the third is that they have social communities. They have committees that organize all the social issues. They do not have one leader, but they have many different leaders for each sect of people. So that means that they'll all handle things together, like sustainable development. Each community of people has one head of that group, and then they all come with a seat at the table. Now let's get back to the city tour.
So this is actually a spy hole, and if somebody is home alone, they can look down into it and they can see who's standing at their door.
This is only one reason why I say that Mozabite society was so advanced for being from 1200 years ago. We walked through the streets and I saw these little cacti being propagated. I thought it was very cute. GHARDAIA is definitely a maze, but in the best way. Next up was the entrance to the mosque. We were not allowed to film in the mosque, but we were allowed to just peep through this little hole and check it out. They keep the insides blue because it helps keep it cooler. Also, all of the buildings are made from limestone and plaster and use palm tree for the pillars. We were told that this well was a very special well. It is 800 years old and took 40 years of digging to reach water. It is 70 meters deep and essential to society because dry season can last for 9 years. What I was most excited about was to see a local home. Now, this is obviously for show because people are very private here. One thing that is very important in Mozabite society is that they are not allowed to show wealth outside of their home. One thing I found very cute is that they actually have little holes specifically for birds' nests. This allowed air to get to the different portions of the home. And get this, 1200 years ago, the Mozabite people had a window in their toilet to outside and went to the bathroom on sand to prevent smell and then used that waste as fertilizer. They also had a different drain for their shower. But this is actually one of the rooms that they would live in. I just cannot get over how advanced this society was. But now this is one of my favorite parts of the house. Because women were still modest and private 1200 years ago, the Mozabite people invented a way that women could walk around the entire city without being seen by anyone.
Behind me is a secret stairwell that allows women to travel around the entire communities by themselves without being seen. And now it is still used, except it is not connected to every part of the city, only within the community.
After learning this about the women, I wanted to learn more things about how women are treated in this society. I asked what the punishment for a crime against a woman, such as domestic violence, would be. I was told that for a crime within a couple, if a man hits his wife, it is extremely shameful. If he does not admit his crime, then he would be completely isolated, and this is what's called losing face. If the man does admit it, his punishment would be to be sent far away to sea level, about 600 meters. This essentially means that he would be exiled for a long period of time. In Mozabite society, the people are known to be very honest and great to do business with, specifically because their belief is that if they do not ask forgiveness for a crime before they pass, they believe they will go to hell forever. 10,000 people live in the city of Ghardaia. The market is always outside of the city, and the city is for living and social norms. Now let's go into the market.
This is essentially the Parliament House. This is where they all have a seat at the table and they sit and they discuss social issues.
As I began walking through the markets, I saw 2 different types of water jugs, both made from the skin of a goat, but this one with cloves. I wandered into a random shop and they offered me to try some dates.
Like chocolatey.
Now, I bet you wouldn't believe it, but this is decaf coffee, but it's actually made from those dates ground up. Super cool. And this is actually eyeliner, but it is made from these rocks right here. I found that so inventive and so cool. I guess women also use these sticks as a lipstick, and I wish I could have tried it, but we didn't have time. It was about that time where we started to feel a little bit hungry, so we decided to walk through the market and maybe find some fruit or olives. And finally, we stumbled upon this man. He was selling lots of olives, and I really wanted to just try a couple to see which ones I liked. But we definitely had a language barrier.
One piece, and then I can say, okay, I want one piece, and then I will buy the big amount.
But honestly, he ended up just thinking I was crazy trying to buy one olive. So I just gave up and asked for a few that looked really good. To be honest though, olives were not going to satisfy us enough at this point, so we jumped in a cab and we headed to a restaurant that had been recommended by our guide. I love how casually there's just a sports field and then a gorgeous cityscape behind. This is supposed to be a traditional restaurant with local dishes from the area. But when we sat down to order, the menu was completely in Arabic, and for some reason my Google Translate did not want to work on it. Nevertheless, we figured it out, told them that we didn't eat meat, and ordered some of the vegetarian dishes on the menu.
So this is mehluba, and it basically has like a bunch of stuff stuffed inside of it.
That was a horrible description. Please excuse me.
In this dough, and then this is kind of like shakshuka, and it's called like shakshuka, I think. So it's basically like the same thing as shakshuka, but it has bread that is in it. So it's like made with tomato and paste and things like that, and then this bread that they put into it as well. Salad, something similar to ayran. Lebne.
I honestly did not know what to expect. This looked like something that I had never seen before, while this reminded me of Turkish gözleme.
I'm not sure if you're supposed to eat with a spoon, but there's a big spoon here and there's 2, so. Wow, that's really good.
Next, it was time to try this. I didn't think much of it, but when I tried it, I realized that it was totally different flavors and they were both spicy and very yummy.
Now we're heading to Beni Isken, which is another village, and it's a little bit smaller, and it's not necessarily like the main village.
If you remember from the beginning of this video, this is where we were supposed to go at the beginning of the day. When we arrived there, we didn't realize it was prayer time, so we actually had to pretend to speak Arabic in order for us to get a guide to go into the city because they had no English speaking guide. So as to not to be rude, because he didn't understand that we did not speak Arabic, we were really trying our best and nodding our heads, and we got some of what he was saying. But my first takeaway from seeing the little town of Beni Isken is that it was actually more modern than Ghardaia. What I did really like about Beni Isken is that it was a little bit higher up than Ghardaia, and it had a lot of cool focal points and viewpoints that we could see different things. Specifically, we learned that the foundation is original and all limestone. Then our local guide decided to take us to the main viewpoint in the entire city.
Oh, it's not that high. Oh, I have to keep going, I guess.
Obviously, I had no idea how high I was going up, but the views were amazing from every corner. Honestly, this is where I've been questioning my life choices. I am getting a little bit out of breath, so I think I need to work out a little bit more. But I finally made it to the top. Almost there. From up above, you can really see all of the structures of the houses in Ghardaia. And in general, I really loved visiting this Algerian city. The people were very welcoming and kind. I felt incredibly safe here, and I loved learning about the culture of the Mozabite people because it is so unique. Now, you might be aware that this is my first long-form YouTube video. Please hit subscribe, like, and share, all that jazz, because it will help motivate me to want to make more long-form content rather than just putting out all my shorts. As we made our way back to our hotel, we once again drove through that oasis that isn't on any map.
Casually driving through an oasis.
This is one of those travel days that you just feel extremely satisfied and happy. I learned so much, I had some good food, I met cool people, and so far I am loving Algeria. What an amazing country. And I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Thanks for traveling with me today.